In a recent chat with Cinema Daily US about his film Conclave, Berger was asked about the status of Jason Bourne 6. He didn't have much of an update on the Damon-led sequel and even hinted that he might not be the one directing it. He seemed unsure about his future in the director's chair, saying, "It's really not clear whether I'm doing that film or not. I'm not doing it right now, and I really don't know what I will do in the future." So let's break down everything we know about Bourne 6 so far. Though the franchise's lead remains eager about the project, Jason Bourne 6 has received an uncertain update from Edward Berger. Development on the next installment of the Matt Damon-led action spy franchise started gaining traction in late 2023 when Berger, fresh off his Oscar win for All Quiet on the Western Front, was reported to have signed on to direct the movie, with Damon in talks to return. While the Oscar-winning actor has affirmed his enthusiasm for the sequel, no major developments have surfaced over the past year. Interestingly, this marks the first time Berger has publicly commented on his involvement in Jason Bourne 6, even though Damon previously confirmed in February that Berger was not only attached, but that the sequel was based on his idea, which Damon called great. Given Berger's track record of writing nearly all of his films, it's likely he was expected to pen the script as well, unless the studio brought in another writer to handle it, while he focused on Conclave and Netflix's The Ballad of a Small Prayer. That being said, there is also the possibility that Berger is moving away from directing Bourne 6. It wouldn't be the first time he was rumored to be attached to a major franchise, only to step away later. He was previously linked to Ocean's 14, but later dismissed those reports as just speculation. While Damon's previous comments make Berger's involvement with Bourne 6 seem more concrete, the long period of silence between the initial announcement and this latest update suggests that either Berger or Universal Pictures may be reconsidering the collaboration. While delays are usually a cause for concern, especially for a sequel that already has an 8-year gap from its predecessor, it's still too early to say what Berger's update means for Jason Bourne 6. Given that he's currently promoting Conclave and reportedly finishing up The Ballad of a Small Prayer, he might have simply been too busy over the past year to fully dive into the next Bourne installment. If Damon remains committed to having Berger direct, the wait could be even longer. Even if Berger remains involved, Damon himself could pose a challenge for the project. The Bourne franchise is based on Robert Ludlum's novels and follows Jason Bourne, an amnesiac assassin trying to uncover his past. There are currently 5 films in the series: The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy, The Bourne Ultimatum, The Bourne Legacy, and Jason Bourne. While the franchise is beloved by action fans, it hasn't always had smooth sailing. Damon famously disliked working on The Bourne Ultimatum mainly because of issues with the script, which led him to step away from the series for nearly a decade. This opened the door for Jeremy Renner's Aaron Cross in The Bourne Legacy, but Damon eventually returned for 2016's Jason Bourne. However, his return now is far from guaranteed. Even though Bourne 6 is being developed with the intent of bringing Jason Bourne back, everything hinges on whether Damon likes the script. If it doesn't meet his expectations, he might walk away, just as he did after The Bourne Ultimatum. He's proven before that he's willing to leave the franchise if the story isn't strong enough. When he did return for Jason Bourne in 2016, it was only after a new writer took over. This means that even if Bourne 6 is in development, there's no guarantee Damon will ultimately sign on. Damon's involvement is crucial because his presence has consistently led to the franchise's biggest successes. While The Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner wasn't a flop, it didn't reach the same level as Damon's films. Meanwhile, Jason Bourne became the highest-grossing entry in the series, showing that audiences still prefer Damon in the role. If he decides to return for one last mission, Bourne 6 could have a real shot at success. Of course, the franchise could still move forward without Damon. Just as The Bourne Legacy introduced a new protagonist in Aaron Cross, Universal could opt to cast a different action star for Bourne 6. They could even bring Renner back to reprise his role. However, this would be a risky move. While it could work with the right casting and story, the safest and most promising route for Bourne 6 is to secure Damon's return. For now, Jason Bourne 6 remains in limbo. With Berger's uncertain involvement and Damon's history of being selective about scripts, the sequel faces significant hurdles. However, if everything aligns, whether with Berger or another director, the franchise could be set for an exciting comeback. Fans will just have to wait and see how it all unfolds. Furthermore, I think Nikki's death means Bourne 6 will likely introduce a new love interest. Thanks to Nikki, Bourne had someone he could trust throughout the first 3 movies, and even in the 2016 reboot. In a franchise built on paranoia, having that one reliable connection grounded Bourne and gave him an emotional anchor. Spy movies often use this trope to humanize their protagonists, and Bourne was no exception. Interestingly, Nikki was originally supposed to die in the Bourne Identity's first draft to subvert this idea, but keeping her around turned out to be a wise choice. She not only softened Bourne's cold, clinical nature, but also provided an inside link to the CIA, keeping the story moving at a fast pace. With Nikki gone, Bourne 6 will need to fill that gap, and that likely means introducing a new love interest. Bourne operating entirely alone would be both bleak and narratively limiting, especially since some of his most compelling moments were shared with Nikki. However, replacing her isn't just a matter of slotting in another character. It's about building a dynamic that feels natural. Unlike James Bond, Bourne isn't a smooth-talking charmer who can easily form new relationships. His connections are slow-burning and built on trust, which makes introducing a brand new love interest a tricky challenge. Not only would the movie need to justify why this new character matters to Bourne, but it would also have to balance their introduction with the already heavy task of revitalizing the franchise. That's why giving Bourne a new romance in Bourne 6 could actually hurt the sequel. His relationship with Nikki wasn't built on flirtation or romance in the traditional sense. It was rooted in shared trauma and years of navigating dangerous situations together. That made their moments together feel raw and authentic, which is a tough dynamic to replicate. If Bourne 6 forces a new love interest into the story too quickly, it risks feeling artificial or even unnecessary. The franchise already has an uphill battle in making Bourne's return feel relevant after an 8-year absence, and forcing in a romantic subplot could further complicate things. Instead of rushing to introduce a new love interest, Bourne 6 should take a different approach. Rather than trying to replace Nikki outright, the movie could introduce an ally with their own motivations that naturally align with Bourne's. This would allow their relationship to develop organically without feeling like a forced romantic pairing. Bourne's strength as a character has always been his ability to survive in a world that constantly betrays him, and any new addition to his life should complement that struggle rather than distract from it. If Bourne 6 can find the right balance, it has the potential to bring Bourne back in a way that feels both fresh and true to the franchise's roots. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.